Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am gonna review Frankly in Love by David Yoon, which is out on the 10th of September. I have an ARC, as you can see, which I got from my friend Christine. I also buddy read this with her, so I will leave her review linked down below. So this book follows Frank, who is Korean American. Every so often they also have these gatherings which are with other Korean American families. His parents came to America, they traveled with their friends from university, and they have been meeting up for so many years. So he meets up with other Koreans on his age as well. He is in the last year of high school and is taking his SATs and is ready to graduate and go to college soon. He also has a sister, Hannah, who married a black man. His parents hasn't talked to her since then because, well, they are racist. Frank then starts seeing this girl called Britt, but she is white, so he is scared to introduce her to his parents because they want him to be together with a Korean girl. He has his friend Joy, who is from the gathering that I just talked about, one of the kids to his parents' friends, and they agree to fake that they're dating each other so that he can actually go out with his girlfriend. Now, this has been marketed as a book focusing on the fake dating trope that I just described, but it is just about so much more than that. Like, this romance itself comes even secondary in this. I feel like that's not even the main focus. Like, it is there, but not that important. This is a book about so much more than that, and I hope that it finds the right readers, because you will just see this fake dating book that looks like a lot of the other contemporary books that we've seen, but it has so much more than that. It is about family and also identity, with him being Korean American, and racism and race and all those things, which I just found so interesting. There were so many thoughts and conversations here about him being Korean American, comparing it to, for example, being white or being even black. His best friend here is, for example, black, and his family has always welcomed him and he's there all the time eating dinner, but he never feels like his best friend Q can be at home at his place in the same way because, well, Q is black. So there's just so many dynamics here. He has so many troubles speaking with his parents because they are bad at English and he is bad at Korean, so they basically speak two different languages, and I can not even imagine how hard it would be to not being able to feel like you cannot fully communicate with your parents. They're not lovey-dovey either, like they don't hug or say they love each other a lot, but there is just so many dynamics between his parents. Like, maybe you would think, oh, they're horrible, they're so bad, because, you know, their racist tendencies and maybe the expectations they put on him to be smart at school, but there is just so much more to them than that, and you feel like you can't just like, oh my god, they're horrible people, I hate them. There's so many different kinds of parents in here as well, like Joy's parents, who are super successful and super rich, but they also have their own troubles, while Frank's dad has, you know, his store, which he has worked really hard in, but it's not like they are super rich, but they are sending their son to college. Literally, like, even if I read the synopsis behind the book, it just says a lot about the whole fake dating thing, and for me that was just one of the least interesting things about the book. Also, when he starts dating Britt, she is just so random. I was not on board on that, and I just had this feeling that, you know, there is just something about this girl. I just generally just felt like it was just so random them liking each other. It's more like he thinks he should like her more than he actually likes her, and I think that all this was portrayed really well and also like approached upon. It's not just hinted upon, but it does say also in the synopsis, David Yoon takes on the question of who am I, with a result that is humorous, heartfelt, and ultimately unforgettable, and that is so true. He, as I said, takes in so many themes here, and you know, it is a contemporary. It's not like he's gonna have like a super huge mind-blowing heist plot or things like that, but it just takes on life in such a beautiful way, on thoughts and reflections in the society that we have now and are so important. I can just imagine Asian Americans relating to this a lot. Of course, Asians everywhere. I am Asian, but I grew up in a white family, so it's not the same by any means, but I do love me any Asian stories in general. Now, my main issue with this book is actually the writing. I struggle a lot reading it sometimes. It didn't flow well at all for me. I had to reread sentences several times because I actually I didn't get what stood there the first time I read it, and that really ruined the flow for the story for me. But I still enjoyed it so much, even the writing bothered me the whole book. So I think that says a lot that this is a solid book, even if the writing here didn't match that well for me. When I was finishing up this book, I had literal tears in my eyes. It was so beautiful and so sad, but it was so good. There's also a lot of talk about white privilege in this. For example, white people can describe themselves with just American. Only when pressed do they go into their ethnic heritage. Doesn't seem fair that I have to forever explain my origin story with that silent hyphen, whereas white people don't. With silent hyphen, he mean Korean American, which he talked about on the passage before, which is so true. And when I said earlier that I didn't relate to Frank, then I just meant his family's expectations of him and his language and communication struggles, while as this I can relate a lot with having to explain where I am from, people being so curious because, I don't look white. For example, Chinese Japanese Look at These Dirty Knees was a racist song white kids used to sing to kids like us when we were little. It was always accompanied by the pulling of eyelids to make things extra ching chong. This happened to me too. People like to pull the eyelids at me. It was, of course, hilarious for others. So same Frank, people have always been racist and probably will continue to be so for a long time forward. Not just discussing racism, he has all identity things where he doesn't feel Korean enough because, he doesn't speak Korean, and they talk about all this Korean bubble and your tribe, do I choose to be Korean and speak Korean and be Korean? And he feels like he hasn't chosen his people because he feels apart from them. But with the Americans or white people, he's not white enough because he's Korean. So there's never this satisfied conclusion I don't belong anywhere kind of thing. And also, again, for me, I can relate because, I didn't grow up in a Chinese family. I'm not Chinese by any means other than that's where I'm born and I look Chinese. I don't speak Chinese. I think if a Chinese person met me and wanted to speak about China, they would be very disappointed of how much I know. But in Norway, where I guess it is expected that you are white if you're Norwegian, still for some reason I'm not Norwegian enough, even though basically I'm so Norwegian you can get my whole behavior and life, but that's not enough. So all these questions are put up and discussed and talked about, and his whole identity, of course, his situation is not the same as mine. No one's situations is the same. There's difference in everything, but I could just see myself in a lot of this, but also a lot I couldn't, but learned and I love to read about and think about and reflect about in general. And I just feel like a lot of kids can relate and find this book, and also a lot of people can learn from this and think about what they say to others, and in general also enjoy a funny and cute and sad contemporary. So I want to read something that is a bit more cheerful than what I just read. Say me and Joy have been born in Korea. We be Korean. We belong to a tribe, but that doesn't necessarily mean we belong with each other, because there are tribes within tribes, all separated by gaps everywhere. Gaps in time, gaps between generations. Money creates gaps. City mouse, country mouse. If there are that many micro-tribes all over the place, what does Korean even mean? What do any of the labels anywhere mean? Frank asks very interesting questions that I don't have the answer to, and probably no one has, but it's just a lot to think about. And there you also had an example of the writing, which sounded really great when I read it now, but after a lot of things like that, it was hard for me to roll with it, but I enjoyed the book nonetheless. There is many more quote-worthy things in here, but I'm not going to sit here and read everything. But yeah, a lot is discussed here, and I'm sorry I talked so much about myself in this video, but I feel like it was okay. This is a beautiful book, and also important book, but also so sad. I started to care for these characters so much after a while, and I hope that you won't miss it when it is being released on the 10th of September, and I hope you decide to pick it up. I feel like there's more things I want to say, but I also generally just loved all the Koreanness we got in this. I just want more types of books like this. Please give me everything. That is a dog that is barking really loudly outside. It was one of my most anticipated releases. I wouldn't say that it disappointed. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It's very, really solid. I enjoyed it a lot. Would definitely recommend. And I think that covers everything. Did I say all I wanted to say? Probably not, but I never do. I hope you enjoyed. I could literally sit here for hours and discuss the different themes in this and different quotes, etc. But you know, ain't gonna do that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. Pick up Franklin Love. I don't think you will regret it. Just keep in mind that it's so much more than that fake dating trope that you've been seeing around for the promotion they're doing for it. And I hope you will consider picking it up and not be disappointed because it's not focused all that much on all the romance. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.